Tom Cruise is back as Ethan Hunt and Mr. Bond. Be on your guard. Not only has Mission Impossible Rogue Nation great action scenes, like the one you know already from the trailer where Tom Cruise is hanging on a plane all by himself, but the movie has an intriguing story and great characters as well. Simon Pegg returns as the funny and charismatic Benji Dunn. He had his first entry in Mission Impossible 3, but it was only a minor role. I guess the filmmakers realized the potential of Simon Pegg, and so he got promoted to a field agent and joined Tom Cruise in Ghost Protocol as his sidekick. In this movie his part is even bigger and you can really feel the friendship between Ethan Hunt and Benji grow. And I think that's one of the main reasons why Mission Impossible really got good with the last part and now this one. It's because of the characters. Because the first 3 installments really struggled with the characters besides Ethan Hunt. But now, for the first time, we got a crew that really feels familiar. Renner and Ving Rhames are also returning as Agent Brand and Luther, and they really have some great moments together, as well as Renner and Alec Baldwin, who joins the franchise as the narrow-minded head of the CIA. They too have a great chemistry together. Also joining is the Swedish actress Rebecca Ferguson as the double agent and very mysterious Ilsa Faust. She's somewhat replacing Paula Patton from Ghost Protocol, who dropped out of this project due to scheduling conflicts. As the bad guy we got Sean Harris, who plays a real creepster, the head of the rogue organization, the Syndicate. I think he's maybe not as good as Philip Seymour Hoffman was in Mission Impossible 3, but yeah, he gets close, and that means he's number 2 on my Mission Impossible villain ranking, but yeah, Mission Impossible doesn't have the great villains. And by the way, the Syndicate is the same organization that was the main antagonist in the original Mission Impossible series in the 60s. Right at the beginning, Sean Harris shares a pretty intense scene with Ethan Hunt, and it reminded me a little bit of the beginning of Mission Impossible 3, when Ethan Hunt was a hostage of Philip Seymour Hoffman's character. This scene in Rogue Nation lays the ground for the following movie and especially for the very cathartic ending, but I won't spoil that here. But let's talk a little bit about the story of Rogue Nation. Stronger than before, the previous movie and this one are connected because the events that took place in Ghost Protocol have consequences in Rogue Nation. We remember, in the last movie the Kremlin got destroyed and the IMF, the Impossible Mission Force, barely saved the United States from a nuclear attack. This concludes now in the shutdown of the IMF through the head of the CIA, the great Alec Baldwin. And so Benji and Brand, Simon Pegg and Renner are forced to change the team, work for the CIA, while Ethan Hunt is, pretty much on his own for the beginning of the movie at least. He is looking for the Syndicate, whose existence is not even recognized by the CIA. The trail leads him to Vienna and directly inside the beautiful opera house, and that's the place where Benji joins Ethan Hunt for the rest of the adventure. To be frankly, sometimes it feels a little bit like a buddy movie, because Simon Pegg and Ethan Hunt not only share some really funny moments together and some really funny dialogue passages, but they also bond and you can really feel their friendship grow. Meanwhile, Renner has its own little nemesis in the person of Alec Baldwin, head of the CIA, and he gets help from Ving Rhames. So to make it simple, we establish 2 separate storylines, one with Simon Pegg and Tom Cruise, and also with Rebecca Ferguson of course, and the other one with Renner, Ving Rhames and Alec Baldwin. And of course these 2 storylines are connected, and you guessed it, for the finale everybody comes together. And yeah, the movie has a good structure, that's one really important point. After Brian De Palma, John Woo, J.J. Abrams and Brad Bird, it was now the turn of Christopher McQuarrie to leave his mark on the franchise. And the Oscar-winning filmmaker, remember he wrote the screenplay for The Usual Suspects, also wrote the screenplay for this one. He got the characters under control, everybody has its right place, and also every person contributes to the action. The story, while not really innovative or new in any way, moves straight forward, is easy to grasp, and also has the necessary mysteries and surprises for you. Furthermore, McQuarrie really knows how to handle the material. He not only knows how to stage a great action scene, but also how to establish very suspenseful thriller segments. Among his role models there's none other than Alfred Hitchcock himself. If you know Hitchcock's The Man Who Knew Too Much with James Stewart, McQuarrie pays homage to the intense scene in the Royal Albert Hall, and it works. He has a knack for old school espionage and combines it with top-notch and, more important, handmade action scenes and stunt work. So for the conclusion, Rogue Nation has the right amount of action, suspense, humor, great characters, and it moves at a fast pace. All the cast is doing a fantastic job. Tom Cruise really shows that he's still one of the best out there. The story works, it's okay. The villain is one of the best in the franchise. And the action set pieces are sometimes breathtaking. So am I happy with the 5th installment of Mission Impossible? You bet I am. And now excuse me, because I'm trying to hold my breath as long as Tom Cruise did in the underwater sequence. Over 6 minutes.